This trade is more insane than you think because for next year, this really sets up the Pacers to be back to where they were last year. And last year, they literally went to Game 7. If it wasn't for Tyrese Halliburton's injury, they might have actually won a championship. So, this trade is going to be replacing Miles Turner, who they let walk to Milwaukee, and that move hasn't really, planned out. And they go out and get a different serviceable center in Zubac, and it did cost them Mathurin, Isaiah Jackson, 2 firsts and a second. But the thing is, the first round pick, one of them is for next season, and it is top 5 protected. What does that mean? Well, if it lands in the top 5, which the Pacers are one of the worst teams in the NBA so far and have a decent chance of having a top 5 overall pick, then the Pacers will be able to keep it. But let's say if it's the 6th overall pick, then the Clippers do get it. So the Pacers were a bit smart with this. If they do get a top draft pick, they want to be able to use it. If it's out of the top 5, then they are willing to let it go for Zubac. Now, Zubac coming to the Clippers is a very good thing, or coming to the Pacers is because now next season when they get Halliburton back and they have their point guard, their quarterback, it's going to be an absolute scary time for the East because we all know what happened last year. This guy really tore through everybody. He went through Cleveland. He went through, New York. He went through Oklahoma and was very, very close on beating them. But this team right here, next year, healthy, with a top 5 pick possibly, is going to be insane because if you get a really good prospect in the top 5, he could really be, either in the starting 5, depending on who you get, or coming off as 6-man, making an impact. And they still have TJ McCollum, and it's still a very good serviceable team, and we all know the East is very wide open. So the Pacers could very well be back in the finals. Many teams are going to be, kind of scared of this team because they're really going to be able to go from Mathurin to a top 5 player, possibly, if the lottery, chips do fall in their favor. Now, for the Clippers, on the other hand, this is a bit insane because you're trading away Zubac. You got Darius Garland, who's younger than James Harden, but in my opinion, there's no reason for Kawhi Leonard to still be on this roster then for tickets. And that's the problem with the Clippers. The Clippers they keep delaying this rebuild, but they literally did all the right moves except for one, which is not letting go of Kawhi Leonard, because they still believe that Kawhi Leonard is still selling them tickets. But at the end of the day, Kawhi Leonard is not on the same timeline as the rest of this Clippers roster. Darius Garland, and Kawhi Leonard in 2 years' time, Kawhi Leonard will not be in the league, and Darius Garland will be 28 years of age, which will be, probably his peak basketball form. Now, you could have really traded Kawhi Leonard to a team like the Warriors, who just lost Jimmy Butler, for Kuminga, Looney, some, valuable young pieces and first-round picks. You could have traded Kawhi Leonard to the Suns and got Jalen Green, one of their centers, and a couple first-round picks. You could have traded Kawhi Leonard to maybe the Milwaukee Bucks. You could have traded Kawhi to many various places, even to the Cavs, for you possibly get Jared Allen and a couple young players and some first-round picks. But they held on to him, and they're holding on to him way too long. To me, Kawhi Leonard is one of the most, you can't really count on him at all. And I would have let go of him, a year or two ago. And now they keep on holding on to him. It's time for him to go, and it's time to rebuild, and Darius Garland is the start of this rebuilding phase that they're in, and trading away Zubac as well. That is another step forward. It was just Kawhi Leonard needed to be traded, but they're not doing it because they're scared they will not sell tickets. And honestly, this Clippers team will be in the play-in tournament, and you're going to get eliminated at max. Your ceiling is first round exit. First round exit is the most the Clippers will do. How do you think this team will match up in a 7-game series against the Thunder or Spurs? They're going to get cooked. Isaiah Jackson is 6'9" and is their center at the moment because they traded away Zubac. So they really can't decide, do we want to rebuild or not? And it's like, you really got to get lucky with that first round pick to be the 6th overall or worse, or else you're not getting a first rounder. And those 2 first rounders that you got are actually just going to be 1. And the Pacers were smart to implement that because they knew they have a chance to really get the 1st overall pick. And imagine the Clippers, right? Not, getting their, not being able to get that pick, because at the end of the day, also, I will throw this in. The Clippers don't have their first round pick. That's why many people are going to say, oh, that's why they shouldn't tank. But I'm just saying, Kawhi Leonard isn't getting younger. They're a fire away in LA. Not saying I want a fire to be there, but we all knew last time there was a fire. This guy was not available because he wanted to be around his family, right? And it's like, Kawhi, you still have a job to do. It's just to play basketball. You're going to go in there for 3-4 hours and then come back to your family. But that's my point. Should have been traded away. Doesn't fit the timeline. You could have got other assets. You could have got first rounders. You could have got, young players to build around. You could have solved your big man problem because you just traded your starter. So to me, the Clippers aren't moving smart. They're moving, I want to still sell tickets because we just got the Intuit Dome. We put 4 million bathrooms in it. We know how Steve Ballmer was happy about that. But Kawhi Leonard being a Clipper this season and next season does not make sense.